And welcome back here for the first heat race. This is your micros and minis, the first one of the afternoon session. Set to go live here for 5 minutes plus 2 laps is going to be the race distance. Danny O'Gara and Kaysen Hendrickson are going to be the front two on the front row as they're coming down through the dog leg of the main straightaway before they come out of what used to be turn one on the old layout before going into the tram lines here on the back straightaway. Good shot of the front pack coming down towards the green. Do they get it? Yes, they do. Green down into turn number 1. And how about that? Way to the outside goes Kaysen Hendrickson. Loses about, I think, 3 or 4 positions, maybe even 5 off of that start. So that's going to be good news for your leader out in front of Danny O'Gara. He's now getting chased by the 257 of Dominic Gaddis up into P2. And these two are both under the MPG and Kart Republic chassis here running at Whiteland Motorsports Park for this race. Again, Danny O'Gara was on a top kart earlier today, now is on a Kart Republic and a MPG for the 2-cycle classes, leading the way over Dominic Gaddis in P number 2. I'm curious to see where your second placement of Kaysen Hendrickson ended up. It almost looked like he was caught up in the marbles, swept way to the outside into turn 1, lost all sorts of positions, and he finds himself back into P7. So he went down 5 spots there in turns 1 and 2. I think he was able to get himself sort of back out in that mid-pack, but he's got his work cut out for him. So there's your top 2 of Danny O'Gara, Dominic Gaddis, 1 and 2, and they're starting to pull away from the rest of the field. Currently, right now, Danny O'Gara has about a 1.7 second advantage over the third placeman right now. There's that second pack being led. I think maybe Lincoln Willie went up into that third spot right now, leading that second pack as we're watching live now. Danny O'Gara out in front, continue to lead the way. Let's see if we can maybe get a good shot of that second group, because Lincoln Willie went up 1 more position to third, and I think they might slowly start closing in on this front pack. Last time by, well, I say that, and I don't think they will actually. Last time by was a 1.4, now it's at a 2.1, so they're losing a decent amount of time, but they are battling for that third spot. The third spot, again, this isn't for the feature. This is where they start for the feature. So if you finish in P3, you'll start the inside of row number 2, which, as we've seen, the outside line can either make or break your race. There is a good shot of that second pack and a good visual of how far away the top 2 are from the rest of the field. That's Danny O'Gara right there leading the pack in Kart number 67, MPG Kart Republic. Right behind him, Dominic Gaddis in the exact same team and chassis as well. But just behind, Lincoln Willie in that Kart 44 on the AMAX entry Evo is starting to almost pull away from that second pack. So maybe we can get a good shot of that second group. I believe there's more action happening back in there because they're all nose to tail there for 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th on back. I think Austin Taylor's in that mix, and Kaysen Hendrickson's caboosing that second group. There it is, out of turn number 1, and they're a lot closer than we see in the top 2. So currently being led by Lincoln Willie. Will Fish, I'm going to say this one wrong again, I do apologize. Feischtiger is in P number 4. Fishtiger is in P4. Right behind him is Owen Gashoni in P5. Austin Taylor into that 6th position. P7 to Kaysen Hendrickson. There is Danny O'Gara out in front. He currently now has about a half a second over Dominic Gaddis, who went purple last time by. But they're going back and forth there in that second pack. If we can possibly get a shot of that going into turn number 1, because the front pack is getting a little stagnant. So let's see if we can't get a good shot of that second field. Let's hold this camera position right here. There it is. Pass on the inside there. I believe that was Austin Taylor making up a position. So he's now going back and forth with the 44 of Lincoln Willie. So Austin Taylor, who had the third spot, as they go 3 wide for the moment, and they get shuffled around again. And that's the 44 as well. Lincoln Willie getting shuffled way far back. And now, if I'm not mistaken, I believe Owen Gashoni is now leading that pack. So they're shuffling back and forth for P3 as they make their way out of the chicane heading into the Southside hairpin. There's your leader out in front, Danny O'Gara. There's the shot of heading into that inner hairpin now. The battle that we're seeing for the 3rd position, if we can zoom in on that just a little bit more, that is Will and Owen going back and forth for P3, heading down towards turn number 1. Just in front, that is Austin Taylor, I believe. That is Will out in front of the MPG in Kart number 10. They get Owen Gashoni in the 198 in P2, and Austin Taylor with his elbows out trying to hold on to that top 5 position, making their way into that 3 and 4 complex. And it looks like it's slowly starting to set sails. We have one off in the barriers. That is Kart number 7 of Andrew Avalos off in the exit of turn 4, the entry of turn number 5. So he was running, I believe, back there in the 10th and 11th position. Now finds himself a little bit farther down on grid. So there's your leader, Danny O'Gara. There, and coming into that oval now is a battle in question we're talking about. That's a battle for 3rd, 4th, and 5th, although I believe Will may be slowly pulling away from that second pack right now. So let's zoom in on 4th, 5th, and 6th. Owen Gashoni, Austin Taylor, Kason Hendrickson, who Hendrickson started up on the front row up into P2. Now finds himself back in the 6th position, so he made up 1 after going back into P7. He's trying to find his way back up through the field, and leading that pack right now is Austin Taylor, if I'm not mistaken, in P5. They continue to just add to this pack right now. So it's Austin Taylor up in the mix, and Owen Gashoni currently leading that pack out in front. So it's Owen Gashoni, Austin Taylor, Kason Henderson, Lincoln Willie, Asher Ferris, I believe, has joined that party as well, along with Dalton Sears. So they're making their way now into the inner hairpin yet again. Coming up the hill as we're looking now, we are about 5 minutes and some seconds in as we're getting the 2 double sticks up in the air. So 2 laps to go now for this front pack. Battling it out for the 3rd spot. There's the battle for the lead. That is, so let's stay with this one right here. I believe the 257 right now, Dominic Gaddis was able to get around Danny O'Gara. O'Gara bobbled his momentum a little bit as the Dominic Gaddis was able to get out in front of the 257, and I believe O'Gara may have gotten bobbled down with some lap traffic. So O'Gara is now in threat of losing that 2nd position. He's slowing going into Daytona Corner, and he's still slowing on the backstretch now. He's got his hand up in the air. He's bunching up that 2nd group. I think he's trying to let them go by. He might be slightly down on power. It looks like it's picking back up now, but that bunched up that 2nd pack. So good news for Dominic Gaddis out in front. He's got nothing but clean sailing. White flag in the air this time by, so I have 1 more lap to go, and I believe, yes, Dominic Gaddis out in front, Owen Gashoni in P2, Danny O'Gara in 3rd. So O'Gara's holding off that pack from behind. O'Gara now under fire from, if I'm not mistaken, that is Owen Gashoni that was able to get back around, and he's trying to just hold off that 2nd pack. The 2nd pack slowly closing back up. That's got Will in it, that's got Lincoln, Kason, Austin, all up in the mix in the battle for the 3rd spot. Dominic Gaddis, he's got a 4.8 second advantage of the rest of the field. He's checked out. I think we can safely say that he's got pull as of now. The checker flag should be out this time by for Dominic Gaddis across the line. So he's making his way into the hairpin corner for the final time. Let's see if we can't get a shot of that 2nd, 3rd, and 4th battle on back. So across the line, starting on pole position, is going to be Dominic Gaddis. He will win the heat race. P2, that is the 198 Owen Gashoni up into P2. So not quite sure what happened. I got confused on the screen here for a moment, but Owen Gashoni able to go up to the front row in that Top Kart USA entry. He'll start outside of row number 1. Danny O'Gara somehow able to recoup for P3. He'll start inside of row 2, and Will will start in P4, Lincoln Wiley in P5, Austin will start in 6th, Kason in 7th, Asher in 8th, Dalton in 9th, and Bentley will start in the 10th spot. So how about that for a chaotic heat race now? We got more of that to come here for your feature later on this afternoon. Up next is going to be your 206 Heavy coming to you live here. This is the first round of the Indy Karting Challenge on Kart Chaser Network. And here we go. This is your 206 Senior Heavy getting set for the heat race here. Adam Dietz and Evan McCorkadale are going to bring him down to the green this time by Dietz on the inside, McCorkadale on the outside. Do we have green this time? Yes, we do. Green flag is out, and it looks like a good jump from that second row there. McCorkadale, is he able to slot in? It looks like, yes, he will. He was able to slot in, but he's going to lose 0 positions, actually. He's able to get in right in front of Troy Toney. Toney going to lose 1 position, though, to Matt Geist on the exit of turn number 4. So Dietz with a good start has about a 2 kart length advantage, though that's probably going to dwindle down as McCorkadale continues to stay in the tow and work his way up the field, so to speak. Most of it's just closing in on the real estate to catch back up to Adam Dietz out in front. Over to the south side hairpin, and it looks like a little bit of a bobble there from Adam Dietz. He slowed it down with the back end kicking out on him. Didn't lose a whole lot of time, but that is going to be just enough for McCorkadale to get more of a tow off of the cart in front of him here to close that cart back up. So down towards the start-finish straight. Good shot of the back straightaway. Let's see it towards the main stretch down into turn number 1. Adam Dietz, he's getting a push now from McCorkadale. McCorkadale did not want to pass with him. It looks like he's going to try to work with him to push himself away from Matt Geist there in P3 and Troy Toney in 4th. So 1 and 2, Dietz and McCorkadale nose to tail out of the turns 3-4 complex, heading over into turn number 5. Down that back straightaway they go, and McCorkadale closing now on the back bumper of Dietz to give him a push into turn number 1, and I think he's just now close enough where he can give him a full push all the way around the track. Problem for them, Matt Geist is down to about 2 kart lengths between themselves and himself in P3. So they are now closed up, top 3 in a draft. Troy Toney not too far back, roughly about a kart length and a half back from the 3, battling in the top 3 spots. So he should be able to close back up in the longer parts of the track from now over into turns 4. You got those 2 long straightaways where you can bunch them back up. If you can't get it here, you might be able to get it over on the exit of turn 5, heading towards the chicane before the Bank Daytona corner. Now over, there's turn 2 into turn 3. No one's going to make a move here. They're going to stay nose to tail. Troy Toney in that 4th spot, ever so slightly closing up to the top 3, and I think he's going to get there on the entry of Daytona corner as he keeps just slowly closing back up to the top 3. He's got plenty of time, roughly about 2 minutes and 40-some seconds plus 2 laps is all the time that he has to try to reel in this top 3. And unfortunate for him in the 4th position, the 3 out in front are not known for battling back and forth. They are in the feature, but in the heat race, they kind of have this silent agreement where if you're in a good spot in the top 3, just maintain your position. If you know that there's an opportunity for a good pass or you think maybe they're slowing you down, take it then. But if they think they're running very close times, they're more than likely just to stay nose to tail. These 3 have been running together here at Whiteland for a decent while, since Andy Sarah bought the facility back in 2018. Troy Toney, about 2 years ago, is when he got into the 206 racing here at Whitelands with the new gen chassis and, new gen brand on the Haas chassis, running in the 4th position now. So he's kind of starting to expand his wings a little bit this year. We saw him up in the top 5 last year. Now we see him battling it out inside for the top 3. So top 4 now, nose to tail. Dietz, McCorkadale, Toney. That's Dietz, McCorkadale, Geist, then Toney. Matt Geist showing an 8th right now, so I don't think he either doesn't have a transponder or his transponder decided to stop working. Both are very high possibilities here as they head down into turn number 1. Still Dietz leading the way, McCorkadale into P2. Geist in 3rd, and Geist is giving a good push. Now it takes a peek to the inside for 2nd. Still door to door. Does McCorkadale yield? It looks like no. He's going to put his elbows out and hold on to that 2nd spot. Troy Toney, welcome to the party. He's now close to the back bumper of Matt Geist, about a 1/4 of a kart length down on him for that 4th position. And now a little bit of a gap is formed between Adam Dietz out in front and McCorkadale running in P2. So that is your 1, 2, 3, 4. And Dietz, he's got breathing room now, but it's probably all going to close in the next lap or so with how the draft works here and a little bit of a push that he's getting from your 3rd placeman of Matt Geist. So we are now looking at 47 seconds to go at the stripe. It's going to be close. They might get 1 more lap out of it, or they might get the 2 to go. So it's either 2 or 3 laps remaining. When the double stick scope in the air, you might see McCorkadale force the issue just a little bit more, but he's probably waiting until he sees the 2 flags up in the air before he makes his move, indicating that there are 2 laps to go. I say that, he has a look to the inside for a moment, decides to stay back in line. Troy Tony's starting to fade a little bit farther away from these top 3. So it looks like Dietz still holding on to the point out in front. Second placeman, McCorkadale, is not quite under fire from Matt Geist. Matt Geist had a look, and he was going to take a look again. Prove me wrong again, Matt Geist, as he made a move for second. Not enough to get it done. It's going to bobble McCorkadale's momentum, and it's going to invite Troy Tony back up into the field. So they are now nose to tail all the way through. Double sticks are in the air, so we are 2 laps to go here. And the top 4 are spread out. They're not quite bunched up nose to tail. I don't think there's going to be a good move going to be made this lap, or an opportunity for a move, I should say. So the top 4 are not quite nose to tail. It's almost divided up in a 2x2 pack. So you have Dietz, McCorkadale 1 and 2, and then you have Geist and Troy Tony in 3 and 4. So they're still within the same area. You might see a pass there for third or a pass for first if McCorkadale is able to close back up. Although Adam Dietz has got to hold on for one more lap out of that south side hairpin. That's notorious for closing the field back up, along with this corner right here, the inside hairpin. And there it is, McCorkadale now up onto the back bumper up the hill. Across the line they go. White flag in the air. One more time by to see if Geist will start, or sorry, not Geist, if Dietz will start a pole position. But here comes McCorkadale up on the inside. Crossover possibly from Dietzy. No, he's going to stay behind. Thought about trying to set him up for it. And now here comes the second 2. Geist and Troy Tony in 3rd and 4th. They're all in the draft of each other, coming over into turns 4 now. And a late sin there from Adam Dietz. He's now up on point. McCorkadale happily yield. He didn't lose any more momentum as he looked back and saw the other 2 were closing up to him. And look for Dietz to go on the defensive here into the south side. A little bit, goes about mid parts of the track, but not all the way down to the white line, gets a little loose, bobbles him down. Now here comes Geist, up 1, now count that, 2 positions. Matt Geist now up on point, he gets crossed over, up the hill they go. Now here comes Troy Tony for 3rd. He's got 3rd, is there a change for the 2nd position? No, Matt Geist, who was nowhere inside the top 3, barely inside the top 3, coming with 2 laps to go. Takes the win here this afternoon for the heat race. He will start a pole position. Adam Dietz will join him on the outside of row number 1. And then you have Troy Tony, who ended up in P3 with the side-by-side photo finish with Evan McCorkadale. McCorkadale starting on the outside of row number 2. So that will do it for your 206 Senior Heavy Heat Race. Up next is your 206 Super Masters. You are watching the Indy Karting Challenge on Kart Chaser. And here we go for heat racing for 206 Super Masters. Tom Harleman and Tom Stevens are going to bring him down to the green flag. They're down to about a walking pace now, lined up in the tram lines. This is 7 karts deep. And let's see it. How close is it going to be? Kart 60. Michael Wells is going to be starting on the inside of pole position. So Wells has got the jump, and it looks like Harleman able to slot into P number 2. There's 8 span out 4 wide heading over into turn number 2. And now nose to tail for the top 2 out in front. That is Wells and Harleman nose to tail. So it looks like Wells is going to have it now into turn 5. Harleman's going to stay in the toe and a little bit farther back there. I believe that is Cutshaw in the 3rd position, and it is. So Cutshaw in 3rd, holding off the rest of the field as they make their way through Daytona. There's a shot of your top 2. Again, that is Wells, Michael Wells, followed by Tom Harleman in kart number 1818, coming over to the inside hairpin this time. Through the inside hairpin they go, and up to the final corners for the first time. 5 minutes plus 2 laps is the amount of time that they're allocated on track here for the heat race. However, they end at the end of that time determines where they start in the feature. And as of now, it is going to be Michael Wells on pole and P2 of Tom Harleman if they stay the way they are. However, they have got themselves a significant amount of distance between themselves and the rest of the field. Roughly 2 seconds is the separation between 1st and 3rd, with Wells and Harleman in 1 and 2. Harleman close on the back bumper. Danny Cutshaw leading over Lewis Mospiff in P4, and Stevens in P5. Tom Stevens, Joseph Stevens in the 6th spot. So there's a shot of your top 2. Wells, Harleman, 1 and 2, coming up to complete lap number 2. About 1 minute and 40 seconds in so far out of 5 plus 2 laps. So there's 3 minutes to go roughly right now, about 3 minutes and 14 seconds coming down into turn number 1 over the rest of the field now, making their way towards turns 2, 3, and 4 complex. And it looks like Harleman has a little peek to the inside here. A little bit on the low side there in the entry of turns 3. Not enough to get it done, but he is going to stay right on the back bumper of Michael Wells. Gap continues to grow between Harleman in 2nd and Danny Cutshaw in 3rd. 3 seconds now separates the top 2 over the rest of the field, as we are now looking at about 2 minutes and 15 seconds completed out of the 5 plus 2. So we're looking just under 3 minutes to go here. Good shot of the Daytona corner of the entry into that, and the exit of turn 4, all the way through the chicane of the entry into Daytona. Like I said, the exit into the south side hairpin. There's your leader out in front. Michael Wells, a privateer on an Eagle, finding his way out in front. P2, Tom Harleman, another privateer who finds himself racing all over the Midwest, whether it's in Ohio, Illinois, Indiana. He's a huge advocate and a local at the Newcastle Motorsports Park, but he's not afraid to venture outside his comfort zone and run at tracks at the like of here at Whiteland Raceway Park, and also over in MCC Cincinnati and the different tracks that they have out in Ohio. So Harleman close on the pursuit of Wells out in front. Now coming down the backstretch, heading over into that quick little chicane, turn 6 and 7, I guess you can call it, before you get to turn 8, but we all refer to it as the Banks or Daytona corner before entering in here into turn 9 in the south side hairpin. Still nose to tail they go up the hill. Harleman, he's had a couple peaks to the inside. I think his favorite place to pass is over into turn 3, heading up into turn 4. Let's see if he tries it this time by. He has possibly an opportunity into turn 1, gets a good run, goes to the back bumper, might be able to pull out and make a pass here into turn 1. He's in the toe. Does he peak? No, he stays right behind your leader. Michael Wells out in front. Harleman just set the purple, the fastest lap time, 51.618. Michael Wells last time went a 52.602. So roughly about half a second better personal lap time than he has over Michael Wells, the leader. Out of turn 5 and down the backstretch they go, looking at about 1 minute and 20 remaining plus 2 laps. So 4 minutes have been completed now. Now we're at 1 minute to go before receiving the 2 double sticks up in the air. So my guess is about 4 laps remaining in total when they cross the stripe here. And now up into the inner hairpin. Does Harleman take a look? No, he's about 2 kart lengths behind your leader, Michael Wells, out in front. Looking at the other lap times, the gap between Harleman in 2nd and Lewis Mospiff in P3, roughly about 4 seconds. It was about 3.8 last time. Let's see what it is this time. Well, it's actually 4.8. So he opened up another second over that second pack, being led by Mospiff in P3. Cutshaw currently sits in P4 with Tom Stevens in P5 and Joseph Stevens rounding out the field in 6. So top 2 nose to tail here in Super Masters. Wells and Harleman, it's been the story from the start. Wells qualified on pole. Harleman called outside pole in P number 2. Followed him from the start, got a good run on the outside line, slotted in right behind Michael Wells. As we are now looking at it, it's going to be, I think they're going to get there right before the 2 flags go up in the air, indicating 2 laps to go. So I think we're looking at about 3 laps remaining. I could be wrong, and I am actually. Double sticks in the air now. 2 laps to go across the stripe. So Wells has to hold off Harleman for just 2 more times around. Into turn number 1, Harleman not close enough to make his move here, so he's going to stay in the tow from behind Wells. Wells continuing to lead out in front. Gap between second and third of Harleman and Moskpif is about 5.3 seconds. So these 2 have plenty of breathing room in between them. They could start battling now, and I don't think I have to worry about being under fire here for the first and second position by that second pack by the time the checkered flag comes out. This time, though, we're going to be looking at the white flag one more time by to figure out who's going to start on pole for the feature race this afternoon for this 206 Super Masters. We got 2 more after this for the heat races of KA Junior, followed by 206 Light. But now we got 1 more lap to go, this time by for your 206 Super Masters. Down into turn 1. Let's see if Harleman is close enough to make a move. It looks like no from my point of view on the camera, and he is not. He's not able to make the move down into turn 1. Over into turn 2 they go, still nose to tail. There's a good shot of the battle happening farther back. Let's see if we can't watch the leaders towards the start-finish straight now as they make their way out of turns 3 and 4. Harleman was not able to get his nose in on turn 3 or 4. Does he get a good run at the backstretch? Well, he goes a little bit wide on the exit of turn 5. Not close enough to make anything happen going into the chicane before Daytona. Might be close enough to have a peek to the inside into the south side hairpin. No, he's down by about 2 kart lengths, and I think his last opportunity is going to be going into the inner hairpin, but he's still a little too far back to send a dive bomb in here. Down to the inner hairpin. Can't get it done here, so he's going to stay nose to tail. Possibly going to get alongside him towards the start-finish straight, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Michael Wells takes the win and will start on pole position for the feature. Tom Harleman will join him again on the outside in P number 2.
These are just throwaways on this. Just like the rose, if I shoot it, it goes.
And welcome back here. We're about to get underway for Junior Heat. How they finish here will determine the starting spot for the feature this afternoon. Christopher Yutzi out in P1. Landon Brewer on the inside, or sorry, Yutzi on the outside, or Yutzi on the outside in P2. On the inside is going to be Landon Brewer, so they're going to go side by side. And it looks like Christopher got a bad run out of turn number 1. He is going to fall a little bit down the order, and that is now going to allow, if I'm not mistaken, I believe that was Ryan Mork, who started back in the 4th spot, to now go up into P2 as they make their way out of turn number 5. So we got 2 MPGs out in front, nose to tail, and then you get the, I believe that is the 833 of Christopher there in P number 3. So they are now 1, 2, 3 nose to tail over the south side hairpin for the first time. Again, this is 5 minutes plus 2 laps. Now Christopher has a look to the inside, goes door to door, and I think he is going to get the spot. So now Christopher up into P2. Landon Brewer is going to fall, or sorry, that is going to be Ryan Mort falls back now into the 3rd position. So it's going to be Brewer out in front, Christopher P2, and then Ryan in that 3rd spot. Just behind Ryan's going to be AJ Stoner, that is, in kart number 4, Mason Gallion in P5. But now we're watching the top 4. So it is Yotzi in P1, Brewer P2, Mort P3, Stoner in, or sorry, Yotzi P2, Brewer P1, Mort P3, AJ Stoner in 4. So the timing system is a little bit behind, I think, as far as positions go out on track. So now Ryan Mort is who we're watching in 3rd, and Landon Brewer in the 820 is who we're watching out in front. And it looked like Christopher was not afraid to get his elbows out. That's how he was able to get around Brian in that inside hairpin. And let's see if he has that same aggression trying to go for the lead here on Landon heading down into turn 1. Does he pop out here? He has a look, backs it off, and oh, gets a little crossed over. Back in, kicked around. He's going to sit around the outside, save his momentum. So he's not going to be close enough to make a move happen into turn 3, but he is right there in the toe of Brewer out in front if something were to happen. Meanwhile, your 3rd placeman, Ryan Mort, seems to be losing sight of the top 2, down by about 4 kart lengths before you get behind him to AJ Stoner. Again, AJ new to the junior category. He came from the cadet program, now up into junior. Just behind him, Mason Gallion on that Top Kart USA entry finds himself in P5. Van Dyke, a privateer, and an OTK, who I thought was struggling qualifying. I think that is true, because he just currently went purple of a 45.518. Lucian Laser currently sits in P7 with Evan Patton in the 8th spot. Two minutes and 30 seconds is what remains here for your plus 2 laps, I should say, for your KA100 Junior. Landon Brewer continues to lead out in front. Christopher Yotzi in P2, or Yutzi, sorry, in P2, currently sitting in P number 3. 2. Ryan Mort sits in P3. Reverse that. Timing system still is updating, and so we're watching Christopher there in the 2nd spot. Just behind him is Ryan Mort. Again, teammates there of your leader of Landon Brewer out in front. Both are on MPG Kart Republic entries. So they are working their way now to complete another lap. They're going to put lap number 3 in the books to work lap number 4. Christopher's close to the back bumper. Gets him a little loose of Landon Brewer, that is, on the entry of turn 1. And this little shuffle that we're seeing back and forth, Christopher's had a peek a couple of times, not fully able to get the move done. That has allowed Ryan Mort and AJ Stoner to stay up in that front pack, so to speak. They are down by about 4 kart lengths. However, something were to happen in these top 2, whether it be a pass or maybe someone pushes it a little too hard on trying to force an issue, then those 2 will be right there to capitalize off of that move and make their way up the field. Right now, we're looking at about 1 minute and 35 seconds to go, plus 2 laps. So we are on the closing stages as of now. We're well past halfway on time, plus the 2 laps are still yet to go. So Brewer's going to lead another lap across the stripe. Last lap, Christopher did go purple, went a 45.5, although last time he slowed it down a little bit to a 45.1. So slowed down about a half a second that last lap. He had a quick think about making a move to the inside there of Landon Brewer going into turn number 2. Can't get it done there, has a peak out of 4. He's going to have a good run out of 5, which is this corner right here. I think he might be losing a little bit of time. I think he went a little wide on the exit of turn 5, so he might not be able to get it done here on the south side hairpin if that's what he was planning for on the entry of the south side hairpin. Now I guess the exit of it, there's still going to be a little bit of separation between the two of them. However, Ryan Mort slowly starting to close the gap back down. 2 laps ago, he was down by about 7/10 to your leader of Landon Brewer out in front. Continues to close the gap back down. Last time by, it was down 6/10, so he picked up a 10th there. He's going to need a little bit more if he wants a chance to having a crack at passing the top 2 now, as we're looking at less than a minute to go. So they will receive the double sticks in the air of 2 laps to go this time by. Top 2 still nose to tail. Now here comes Ryan Morton to the field of view. He's down by now a kart length on the exit turn number 5, maybe 2. He doesn't have a great run out of turn 5. I take that back. He had a great run into turn 6, though, as he makes his way now through Daytona Corner over into the south side hairpin. Not close enough to make a move on Christopher, but he also might be able to put the pressure just a little bit on Christopher to help out his teammate of Landon Brewer out in front. Through the inner hairpin they go, up the climb of the hill, the final 2 left-hand corners to receive 2 laps to go at the line. Let's see, is Christopher going to make his move now? I bet you if you're Ryan Moore right now, you're hoping for it, and he does. He goes for it. Does he clear him? He does. So new leader, Christopher Yotzi out in front, and he is going to be up in P1. Sorry, Christopher Yotzi up in P1. P2 now Landon Brewer, 3rd spot of Ryan Moore. Not closing up as much as we thought with that pass, but let's see. What does Brewer do? Does he wait till the last lap, or does he take it soon into the south side hairpin? Through Daytona they go. Looks like he's set up for it. He's going to stay right in the toe behind Christopher, who's leading the way. Up the hill for the final, second to final time, I should say, the penultimate, if you want to use some big words, makes his way into that inner hairpin, up the hill through the final 2 corners. There's a good shot of your top 3. Not quite nose to tail, about equal spacing all the way through. I don't think Brewer's close enough to make a move here. Ryan Moore might be close enough in the next lap to make a, or next couple of corners, I should say, to make a move on his teammate, although I think he's just going to sit back and watch and see what Brewer does. Over to turns 3 and 4, he's just behind Christopher there, about a half a car length down, into turn 5, still in the toe, going down that back straightaway, heading over into turns 6 and 7, over into Daytona they go. Top 3, now count that 4 starting to close up. Here comes AJ Stoner down on the inside. Position change, Landon Brewer up to the front. Let's see, does the teammate Mort follow? He goes straight to his back bumper, gives a little bit of a push. Now Ryan Mort is going to be up into P2, and it's trying to go for 1. Is Yotzi able to get him back on the line? So that is going to go all the way to Landon Brewer taking the win here this afternoon for the heat race. Christopher Yotzi comes across in P2. Ryan Mort comes across in P3. AJ Stoner in 4th. Mason Gallion in 5th. Dane Van Dyke 6th. Lucian Laser in 7th. And Evan Patton rounds out your field in 8th. So that'll do it for KA Junior. Up next for their heat race, 206 Light coming to you live here. You are watching the Indy Karting Challenge on Kart Chaser.
We're at a commercial break.
Are you looking for an advantage in your competition? Well, Kart Class has done the hard work for you. We've travelled to your racetracks to give you the inside knowledge. So what does Kart Class offer? We've got drone footage that captures the racing lines, visual markers for your braking points, acceleration zones, and the best overtake opportunities on your racetrack. Pedal cam to show you where to brake and when to accelerate, and 360-degree footage to make sure you don't miss any parts on the racetrack. We've covered 13 racetracks in the United States, and Australia, you're up next. So visit kartclass.com to get your track information.
Are you ready to get behind the wheel? From Formula One to NASCAR and IndyCar, all the pros start here. more information, check us out online at mcckarting.com or call us and go racing today.
You need it? We got it. At Kart Eat Parts, we are your complete online aftermarket kart part superstore. From chains to bearings to bumpers and components, we've got it in stock and ready to ship straight to your door from our base in Ontario, Canada. Check us out online at karteparts.ca.
And here we are back for the final heat races of the afternoon before we get set for the features. This is 206 senior Eli Fox starts on the outside of row number 1, and that is going to be Gentheimer, Ryan Gentheimer that is, starting on pole position. Ryan gets a good start. Eli Fox only loses 1, almost 2 positions as he has his elbows out. He only loses 1. He goes down 1 spot there. I believe that was Johnson, Brady Johnson that is, that goes up into the 2nd spot. And how about that for a 2-kart breakaway? About 9, count that 10 kart lengths as they go side by side. Let's see if we can't watch this battle for 3rd going down, as it looks like Eli Fox has his elbows out and is struggling to hold on to that 3rd spot. Goes down 4th. He's trying to pass back for 5th. Let's see if we can't get a shot for that 2nd pack. Your leaders are out in front. They got some decent gaps in between them. But here's the battle we all want to be watching right now. This is for 3rd, 4th, and 5th on back. They all got their elbows up, going side by side. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that is AJ Ludd losing quite a few positions in that top car going back towards the end of the field. So let's settle it back down just a little bit. That's Kyle Landon up into P3 on the left-hand side of your screen. There's your top 2. So that's Gentheimer and Johnson, 1 and 2. Then you get a little bit farther back here to Kyle Landon in P3, heading up to the entry of turn number 5. Eli Fox just behind him. Levi Wilbur up in P5. Riley Baldwin in 6. So there's your good gap of the top 2. And then there's the rest of the field in question. There's 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. So just for reference of how spread out this field is, after what appears to be 2 laps this time by, there's already a 2.5 second gap between Brandon Johnson in P2 and Kyle Landon in 3rd. Another good aerial view of it. So there's your top 2. Gentheimer went by first, then Johnson, then Landon, Eli Fox, and then Landon. Looks like there's a battle happening back and forth on track. So if you are that 3rd and 4th placeman of both Eli Fox and Kyle Landon, as it looks like it's actually Eli Fox running in 4th, Landon into 3rd, they might try to work together to catch back up to the top 2. Just behind Eli Fox in 4th, in the 5th spot, is Levi Wilbur. Wilbur had an okay starting spot. I believe he was back in the 7th or 8th position, and he might be the saving grace for the 3rd and 4th placeman of Landon and Fox if they want to work together to close back up to the top 2. There is your leader. That's Ryan Gentheimer and the 919 Privateer on the MGM up in front. Right behind him, Brady Johnson. He is running on a Evo, if I'm not mistaken, under AMAX Racing in the 2nd spot. Currently down by a 2nd to Ryan Gentheimer out in front. So I think this might be a little bit of a boring race inside the top 2. The excitement might come down to if that 2nd pack can close back up to the 2 leaders. That's Kyle Landon and Eli Fox. Let's take a look at the times. Ryan Gentheimer last time by himself without a tow or a push, went a 49.266. Braden Johnson went a 49.452. He had a little bit of a tow from Ryan out in front. Kyle Landon in Eli Fox in P3 went a 49.567. Kyle Landon went a 49.801. So still quicker times out in front by himself is Ryan Gentheimer than the rest of the field, and that might just be what he needs to pull away from the rest of the pack. Levi Wilbur in that 5th spot, not close enough to catch back up to Landon or Fox, running in 3rd and 4th respectfully. So might be a little boring towards the front, might be a little exciting in that mid-pack. There's 1 and 2, Gentheimer and Johnson. Gentheimer opened up what was about an 0.8 of a second gap to a 1.082. That is the battle for 3rd and 4th that you're watching on your screen. That's Kyle Landon, that Top Kart USA entry. Just behind him in that gold new gen Haas chassis is Eli Fox, who we normally saw up towards the front of these 206 races last year. He is the defending champion for the 206 medium class, and I believe he was also up in the mix for 206 light for the championship battle here at Whiteland Raceway Park, and now under the Indy Karting Challenge. So there's your leader going by. He's got to hold on for another 56 seconds plus 2 laps. That's the battle for third. Landon there out in front, Fox in fourth, and it looks like Fox is content with pushing to try to catch back up. Last time by, Eli Fox went purple, and almost identical. They did go identical times to Kyle Landon and Eli Fox, that is. They both went a 48.976. Or sorry, Eli Fox went 976. Landon went a 48.979. So slightly faster is Eli Fox. Meanwhile, your leaders out in front of Gensheimer went a 49.064. Braden Johnson in second went a 49.405. So they're closing that gap down. I don't think they're going to have enough time. They're looking about 16 seconds until they receive 2 laps to go. So it's either this one or the next one. And I believe it's going to be next time by. So we're going to add, we're not adding, but it's going to be one more time by. They came across right at about 7 seconds. So it's going to be this time by before they receive 2 laps to go. Taking an eye on the gaps. Gensheimer went a 48.934. Johnson went a 49.344. Landon went a 49.9. Fox went a 49.9. So I think Johnson's going to be okay if he just holds on a little bit longer. He's up by about 1.9 over Landon and P3. But with 2 laps to go, he can't make any mistakes if he wants to hold on to that second spot. Meanwhile, your leader out in front, Ryan, he's got breathing space for days. He's got 1.8 seconds between himself and Johnson, the second spot. There he is right there. 919, Ryan Gensheimer, privateer on the MGM. Look for the double sticks up in the air. 2 laps to go this time by, and there it is. 2 more time around this facility before Ryan will start on pole position here this afternoon for the final. And looking at the time again, Eli Fox picked up the pace yet again. He is purple, 48.921. And the last time for Johnson and P2 was a 50.052. He's closing down. They're less than a second. There it is. There's your second or third placement. And just up the road is Johnson there in P number 2. I think he's got enough time and enough real estate between himself and the 2 and second and third to hold on to that outside front row start. There goes your leader. He's 2.9, almost 3 seconds up the road from the rest of the field. So he is going to take the checkered and start on pole, no doubtedly. But I think Johnson's going to do it. He's going to hold on, but he's going to be glad that didn't go any longer. Oh, sorry, my bad. White flag this time by. Forgot 2 laps to go, meant 2, not 1. So now let's watch it. There's your leader of Gensheimer out in front. So he's now holding on to 2.7. The time's starting to go down a little bit. And then on the left-hand side of your screen, let's see if we can't pan over and watch that battle for second, third, and fourth right there. So there's Fox in the caboose right now. That second spot is Kyle Landon. And just up the road there in front is your second placement of Braden Johnson. They ran down what seems to be a 1-second deficit to this backstretch, and it's going to be elbows up if they're able to catch up to him. There goes by Ryan Gensheimer there for the lead, and now Johnson getting reeled in quickly. I think he can hold him off here in the south side hairpin, but up into the inner hairpin is going to be a different story. So Ryan Gensheimer, I'm just going to call it right now. He's going to take the checkered flag and start on pole position. But let's see if we can't see this battle for second. There goes Gensheimer on the left-hand side. Here comes the 2 for the second spot, and barely is Johnson going to hold off of both Kyle Landon finishing in third and Eli Fox in fourth as the checkered flag comes out. So that will do it for the final heat race of the day. Now we move on to the features. First one up is going to be Micro and Mini set to take the track next. After that, we'll go into 206 Heavy, followed by 206 Supermaster, KA Junior, and 206 Light. You are watching the Indy Karting Challenge, coming to you live here on Kart Chaser.
Brandon, why are there all these charges for just over $200 from Acceleration Kart Racing's website?
That's because AKR gives you free shipping on orders of $200 or more within the continental US.
Okay, But I thought you were just getting a pair of gloves. That's what, 70 bucks?
But if I'm getting a new pair of gloves, I might as well get a new pair of shoes to match. And then on top of that, I'll get a neck brace because with the shipping, it's basically free.
Yeah, I do not think the math checks out on that.
Everything you need, all in one place and shipped to your door for free for orders of $200 or more. Exclusions apply. Spend responsibly. Shop akr.com.
I'm David Serra, 18-time Australian karting champion, and we're launching Kart Class. Kart Class is an advanced digital training program that suits a driver who's just starting out in the sport, all the way to the driver looking to win a national championship. In this program, you're going to be learning about how to find the ideal racing line and what an apex is, braking and throttle markers, wet weather racing lines, and how to overtake other competitors. We target how to brake in the wet weather, and we look on the mental side of kart racing as well with our mental skills coach. At the completion of this program, you'll be lighting up purple sectors in qualifying, know when to defend on the opening laps, and how to pressure your opposition into mistakes. We teach you the tools to be resilient and how to get in the right frame of mind before a race. We look to complete the whole package by getting a strong mindset, a driving style to suit all conditions, strategizing your race, and getting the last 1% from your team. We'll teach you how to win the final lap of a race, driving the wet like Max Verstappen, and creating the perfect bubble for yourself to mentally be in the zone. To find out more, click the link below.
And here we go for your micros and your minis. Owen Gashoni is going to be on the outside of row number one. Lincoln Willie is going to be on the inside, and a huge push he receives going into turn number one. A little loose there on the inside mid-pack, and it looks like they're all going to keep it clean and green over into turns 1 and 2, and they're still going to go door-to-door, side-by-side over into what appears to be turns 3 and 4, and a clean getaway out in front. Trying to get a number for you guys who get lost in the sun so far as they make their way down the backstretch over into Daytona Corner, heading through turns number 6 and 7 into Daytona Daytona they go now. Good shot there of that entire field heading over into Daytona. The minis just got the green now, so that is a 257 out in front. So that's Dominic Gaddis leading the way right now over car number 10. That is Will Fishtinger in P2. Just behind him, I believe, is going to be Austin Taylor, and it's Owen Gashoni in P number 3, Lincoln Wiley in P4. Austin Taylor ends up in P5, Titus Roberts 6th, Asher Fair 7th, Casey Henderson 8th, Bentley McCain 9th, Andrew Avalis rounds out your top 10. For your micros, Reagan Hodgins is going to lead in P11, Elam Stoner 11th overall. Elam Stoner in 12th as they continue to go nose to tail now over towards the backstretch. Again, this is a little bit of a longer heat than we've seen this afternoon so far. Same distance that you saw earlier today, 10 minutes plus 2 laps, the amount of laps you can get in that time period. More power to you. As now Dominic Gaddis leads the way in that 257 MPG Kart Republic entry out in P1. Leading over the rest of the field now. So let's see the gaps right now. Fastest lap so far is Lincoln Willie up into the second spot. He went a 47.966. Fastest time, your leader, Dominic Gaddis, went a 48.658. So that is 1 and 2 with the 2 fastest times. P3 went a 48.971. P4 went a 48.848. So very close in times, but right now, Lincoln Willie might start putting the pressure on Dominic Gaddis here into the Daytona corner. Not close enough to make a dive bomb move into the south side hairpin, but he is right there in case there's a mistake made from Gaddis. Up the hill they go, heading over into the inner hairpin. This is another good passing opportunity. Don't think we're going to see it here, as there's a little bit of separation between the two. Coming up the hill now into the double left-hander down towards that front, almost dogleg type straightaway that we call the main stretch, where they receive the checkered flag and green flag is given closer down into turn number 1. So your top 2 still close in times. Kaysen Hendrickson turned the fastest lap so far, but 47.553. Kaysen sitting in the 6th position, so moving the way up the field a little bit, slowly but surely up the field. It's in that field of view of that front pack. I believe it's the caboose of that front pack. As your top 6 are nose to tail. Your top 2, though, is who we're going to keep an eye on, of Dominic Gaddis and Lincoln Willie over into the Daytona corner, now into the south side hairpin. Still out in front is Gaddis over Willie, so that's 1 and 2. 3 minutes in, about 7 minutes plus 2 laps to go here as they make their way up the final 2 left-hand corners again towards the start-finish straight, and it almost looks like Will Fishtinger is moving up the field as well. So that is going to be a possible 3-car battle for the lead. Here's a pass for the inside. Car 44, Lincoln Willie up on the points. So Willie, your new leader. That is going to push Gaddis back into the 2nd position, though Gaddis isn't going to give it up easy. He tried to force an over-under coming out of turns number 4. Takes a peek back to see what appears to be just a beehive of karts from behind him as he makes a look now. His teammate there of Will Fishinger is in that 3rd spot. Through turn 6 of that chicane, they go into 7 of Daytona corner, heading over the south side hairpin, and around the outside line goes Dominic Gaddis. Into the inside hairpin they go, and now slowly reeling him back in is that 2nd placement now of Dominic Gaddis there in that 257. He's in the toe. Does he take a peek now on the inside line? He's in the toe. Does not try to go for the inside line, but opens up for a possible crossover move. Lapper out in front, but I believe that might be a micro. Lets the entire field go by. Good sportsmanship on his part there, letting the field go through and lets the rest of them as well. So that should not be a disruptor there for that front pack. However, there's still some breathing room in between Lincoln Willie and Dominic Gaddis heading over into turn 6 and now Daytona corner. Now over to the south side hairpin they go. They're all nose to tail on their way through. No one took a peek down to the inside line. No one defending just yet, as there's your leader of Lincoln Willie takes a peek back, and that Top Kart, or no, sorry, that's not a Top Kart USA entry. I believe that's a Coyote under AMAX Racing, leading the way out in front. Gaddis there in the 2nd spot. The MPG Kart Republic is closing in on the leader of Lincoln Willie. He's not as close as he was last time by. Can't quite make a move here. Taking a peek back, Will Fishinger in that 3rd position is under fire from the rest of the field. Currently, if I'm not mistaken, Dominic Gaddis is behind him, trying to see if he can't force an issue and a possible mistake out of him to make up a couple positions. Owen Gashoni, who started up towards the front in that 4th spot, having a peek there on the inside. Owen Gashoni, that Top Kart USA entry, I believe new to the scene here at Whiteland Raceway Park. Glad to see some new drivers here in the micro and mini division, making this a much bigger class than what it used appears to be, as there's the AMAX kart, number 44, and I believe that is actually a Tony kart leading the way of Lincoln Willie as the spectators are on their feet as they go side by side across the line. Here comes Lincoln Willie trying to see if he can hold off. I believe that is now going to be Fisherington up into the point, and it is. Kart number 10, Will Fisherington up into the front spot. Second spot now goes to Dominic Gaddis, his teammate now. Nose to tail goes the top three. The rest of the field still all bunched up. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 karts in tow heading over into turn 6. And it appeared that Willie was going to try to make a move heading over into that chicane before they get to turn 10. So right now it's being led by Fischinger out in front, and then it's being caboosed by Kason Hendrickson running in that third position. So there is the top two now making their way into the inner hairpin. Heading up the field they go. Now towards the start-finish straight. We are 6 minutes and about 30 seconds in. 3 minutes and 30 seconds plus 2 laps to go. Over into turn 1, and I believe that was almost a defensive line there from Fischinger into turn number 1. Not quite close enough there for his teammate of Dominic Gaddis to make a move. Pops out for a possible crossover, gets nose to the inside. Is he able to hold it into turn 5? Backs off just a little bit and is now going to try to take it side by side on the outside. Gaddis has back out contact there, and it looked like that was Lincoln Willie who got collected by it, got popped up in the air, went off the track, and his nose went up, and unfortunately he is out of the pack. I think he is okay. I don't think he hit anything, and his kart has come to a stop, and I believe it is beached there over into turn 6, and he is not happy with what happened. As Dominic Gaddis, I don't think that he knew that he was there. He was trying to get back in the line going over into turn 6. So now that is going to take one more candidate that was inside that top 6 out of the equation, making it a 5-kart battle for the lead. So it's still Fischinger up into the lead. I believe that's Gaddis still holding on to that second spot, and then Gashoni in that third position, that Top Kart USA entry in P number 3. So it's an MPG Kart Republic 1 and 2, and then you get to a Top Kart P3. P4 is actually Austin Taylor, if I'm not mistaken, it is. Austin Taylor, Kart 24, MPG Kart Republic is up into P4, and now that top 5 being caboosed by Kason Hendrickson. So 5-kart battle for the lead. They're all nose to tail. We're approaching 2 minutes and 2 laps to go now. So across the start finish straight away they go. Will's still out in front, Owen in P2, and I believe Dominic Gaddis there in the third position. Is he close enough to make a move into turn 1? Looks like no. And now here actually comes, if I'm not mistaken, that should be Austin Taylor. Has a little peek there to the inside to try to see if he can't make it a 1-2-3 lockout there for MPG Kart Republic. He's still in the tow of Owen Gashoni in P number 3. They're still bunched up nose to tail. Over into Daytona corner they go. And now it looks like Gashoni starting to put the pressure now onto Gaddis there for second. Austin Taylor still waiting in the wake there of the 4th spot to try to see if he can't work his way up to the podium here. Would be a good way to start off his campaign here at Whiteland Motorsports Park, as now it's a 4-kart battle out in front, not too far out of the field of view, as Kason Hendrickson, as now already on the defensive, is going to be Fischinger in the lead, and now that's going to open Pandora's box for second on back, as they're still shuffling through. Gashoni in the 3rd spot under fire from Taylor, and right now, looks like Gaddis is trying to put the battle on his teammate. Now here comes Gashoni, tries up on the inside, is actually going to bump it up into Taylor, so they're still going to go nose to tail. Now here comes Kason Hendrickson for 4th, I should say, battling for 4th in the 5th position. So now, 50 seconds remain before we see 2 laps to go. They're going to get this one. This lap's going to be completed. They'll get one more time by before they see double sticks up in the air. There's a little bit of contact between the 2 teammates. Will and Owen, or not Owen, sorry, that was Dominic, come together, and they're now going to fall back through the pack. So that's now going to allow Gashoni in the Top Kart USA entry to go up into P1. P2 now is going to be Austin Taylor. So Austin Taylor played this patient. He's going for the lead now. Does he have it? Yes. Gashoni tries to get back on the inside. Taylor says, no way, no how. Cuts him off there going into turn 4. And now Austin Taylor trying to go for his first win here at Whiteland Raceway Park. He's got a 2 or 3 kart length advantage over Gashoni there in the 2nd position. Gashoni under fire now. If I'm not mistaken, that should be the 10 of Will Fischinger in what appears to be the 4th position. So they are battling for the 3rd spot right now. Lappers out in front. Taylor is going to send it deep on the inside. He gets around no problem. There goes Gashoni, and it's split it. How about that for a 2-for-1? And almost into the barrier goes Gashoni as he goes door to door there with Fischinger over now into turn number 1. They're still going to go back and forth. This is great news for your leader out in front if you're supporting him. Of Austin Taylor opens up a 5 or 6 car lengths advantage, but now the battle for second starts to heat up. So it's going back and forth. Fischinger in the second spot, holding off Gashoni there in the Top Kart USA entry for third. Again, Fischinger in the MPG Kart Republic in P2, and they're still going back and forth. Austin Taylor has a lap around in front of him for the lead. I think he's going to be able to clear him. No, Austin Taylor's going to want to clear that soon because this battle for second might continue over if he can't. Up into the inside hairpin. There goes Austin Taylor clearing just fine. This battle for second, I think, might be a photo finish for P2. But how about this? Austin Taylor, his first win here, Whiteland Raceway Park across the stripe. Oh, sorry, white flag, one more time by. So he's got one more lap until he gets his first one here at Whiteland Raceway Park. The battle for second continues on, though, as Fischinger for second continues on. He is able to get around. So was, if I'm not mistaken, the case in Hendrickson now up into P3. So Hendrickson up into third. He's reeling in the back bumper now of Will Fischinger in that second spot. Over on the backstretch, he's got the toe. I don't think it's close enough now, and I don't think Will is close enough to Austin to make a move here into the south side hairpin. So Austin Taylor will lead him into the south side hairpin. He hung out in the back of that front field the entire race long. His career started here not too long ago, a few years back at Whiteland Raceway Park, and now he's trying to go for his first win here for the first race of the 2024 season. Austin Taylor takes the win. Will Fischinger is going to come across in P2. Case and Hendrickson, how about that for a drive from mid-pack up to round out the podium in P3. And Owen Gashoni, P4. Dominic Gaddis will round out your top 5. So that will do it here for your micros and your minis, the first final of the afternoon. Up next will be your 206 Heavy. This is the first round of the Indy Karting Challenge coming to you live here on Kart Chaser.
like my wallet if you want. Jump and look at girl is supposed to miles on it. Just smile on at you. That's what I like. Key for you, that's what I like. That's what I like. Silk sheets and diamonds on. That's what I
And welcome back as we're about to get things kicked off with your 206 heavy finals. This is the second final of the afternoon as they're about to take their 10 minutes plus 2 laps feature event. Matt Geist is starting on the inside on pole. Adam Dietz on the outside of run number 1 starts in P number 2. Behind him in the 4th position is Evan McCorkadale, and behind your pole sitter in 3rd is Troy Toney. So they are now going to be your top 2 rows coming down into turn number 1. Green flag is out, and is Adam Dietz going to be able to hold off that inside line? He's got his elbows out. Is he able to get around Troy Toney? I believe he is. So now Dietz is going to hold on to P2. Here comes McCorkadale up into 3rd. Troy Toney goes down that 1 position into the 4th spot. So Matt Geist is going to hold on to the lead here and opens up about a 5 or 6 car length advantage out in front. McCorkadale already pushing hard on the back bumper of Adam Dietz. He does not want Matt Geist to pull away and get them out of drafting range here as they make their way into the south side hairpin for the first time. And the clock again starts and the green flag comes out. So it's going to be roughly about 9 minutes left to make the way across the board. I'll just call that flat out right. So we're going to continue to watch here for the next 9 minutes plus 2 laps. Matt Geist out in front in that 5:31. He started from pole position. He led from the start. This is his second race of the day as he did compete in the 206 Masters event. And now to the inside goes McCorkadale up 1 more position. So McCorkadale up into P2. Adam Dietz, after starting in the 2nd spot, finds himself in 3rd. And not too far behind is Troy Toney in the 4th spot. So that is your top 4, though Troy Toney is trailing a little bit farther back than where the top 3 are. He's not quite in the toe of the top 3 so far, but if they do start going back and forth and battling it out, that might bunch the field up to where we could see a 4-car battle for the lead. But as of right now, all the signs point to 3. 3-car battle for the lead. Geist, Dietz, McCorkadale, 1, 2, 3. Although McCorkadale, he is already pushing hard on the back bumper of Matt Geist. Matt Geist is getting a little loose there on the exit of that inside hairpin. Not quite sure if that was from a little bit of too much extra help there from McCorkadale, or if he's still waiting for his tires to come up to temperature. But that is the pack in order. 1, 2, 3. No one taking the pass there into turn 1. And my guess is you can anticipate these guys not to battle too hard until we're just past halfway. These 3 have been running together here at WRP for a very long time, since Andy and Sarah bought the facility back in 2018. They've always been close in competition with each other as far as the championship goes, and also with on-track action. And this is the feature race. However, they all have the championship in mind right now. They know that the championship isn't made or broken in 1 race, and they have plenty of time to get all their battling out and underway. So the top 3 are probably going to wait until they see just over halfway or double sticks in the air. Now, if you're wondering how drivers can know what lap they're on until they see 2 laps to go, there is the micron that sits on the steering wheel. It tells you approximately how long you've been on track, and a lot of times right as they get the green, drivers will look down and do some quick math and see whatever the time is on their screen, plus 10 minutes is how long they have until they're going to see the 2 laps to go. And a lot of times, some drivers can play it really smart when they know that the 2 sticks are coming up, indicating that there's 2 laps to go, and they will actually try to make their move right then and there. But right now, we're going to sit back and watch these top 3 go nose to tail. Still, Geist leaving over McCorkadale. Dietz in 3rd, and not too far behind that front pack, Troy Toney sits in the 4th position. Look at the lap times so far. The fastest car on track is Evan McCorkadale in 2nd with the 50.531. It looks like Matt Geist might not have a transponder again on his car because it's not coming up on timing and scoring. So not sure if there's a problem with this transponder or if it's just not on his cart in general. But he is leading, so we can't get any lap times on him. But now, I can tell you visually, McCorkadale is pushing him away from the 3rd placement of Adam Dietz. So Dietz is just going to have to see if he can't hold on to the toe for all it's worth, bide his time, and hope that McCorkadale tries to make a move on Geist that'll just slow the field back down. as they make their way out of 3 and 4, heading over now into 5 down that little bit of a long straightaway, probably the third longest straight we have on this track so far. Before we get to the Daytona corner, you can carry all sorts of speed there and make a pass going into the south side hairpin, which they're heading into now. They go into the south side hairpin. So Matt Guy is still P1, McCorkadale still P2, and Adam Dietz, he's asking for help from behind. He's tapping the back of his helmet. He takes a peek back, and I think he realizes that Troy Toney, he's there. He's barely in the tow, but he's not close enough to give any support to Adam Dietz. However, last time by, Troy Toney did go purple, the fastest car on the track of a 50.230. Again, we don't have exact data on Matt Geister leader right now, so we don't know what times he's running. But as of now, the fastest car in the on track in the field is Troy Toney with that 50.234. Closest one to him is actually Adam Dietz in second with the Evan McCorkadale, the 50.278. So my guess is Geist is somewhere in that ballpark range since they're running nose to tail. Maybe slightly faster if he gets more of a push going down those long straightaways. So somewhere in the 50.1 to 50.2s is where Matt Geist is sitting on lap times. But as of now, it's these two starting to walk away from the rest of the field. We're about 5 minutes in, 5 minutes until we get the 2 laps to go. So we're just over halfway now. Next up on track, though, just so we can make sure that everyone in the paddock knows where they're at and we can keep things moving right along, is 206 Super Masters. You guys should probably be up on grid right now. 206 Super Masters, KA Junior will follow, then 206 Light. Again, that's all coming to you live here on Kart Chaser. This is members only, the exclusive content where you can see the features and finals, the heats and finals live on Pace. We appreciate all your guys' support and what you do for us so far, and we hope you guys are enjoying this entertainment here. And again, there's more racing going on even later in the afternoon once we wrap things up here. TSRS is going on in Houston right now with Kart Chaser, as well as Atlanta Motorsports Park is doing their club racing down in Atlanta, Georgia, so that's going on simultaneously. And then Rotax has their Grand National shootouts out in Arizona going on currently in Tucson. So if you like racing, want to continue watching it into the afternoon, make sure you turn on some of those. But right now, we ask you to stay and continue to watch, as these two right now, Matt Geist and Evan McCorkadale, are going not really back and forth, they're just staying nose to tail here. They've done it for the past 6 minutes. They're going to probably continue to do so for the next 4 until the double sticks are up in the air. Meanwhile, the two from behind, Adam Dietz and Troy Toney, have now linked up and they're nose to tail. That's the battle for third. So if they're smart, they might be able to catch back up if they have enough to push each other towards the front of the field. They're able to get around the lapper. That's the top two got around with the breeze. So that's going to be good news for them. And I'm curious to see what the times are. Last time by, it's still currently, again, we don't have an exact data on Matt Geist because his transponder either isn't working or doesn't have it on, but he's somewhere in the 50.1s because McCorkadale went a 50.177. Both Troy Toney and Adam Dietz went a 50.34, and Toney went a 50.459. So even linked up in a tow, they are not close enough to catch back up to these top two as they make their way over into turns 3 and 4 complex. Now, time is starting to expire. About 3 minutes to go. We're 7 minutes in. And again, once time hits 0, next time by to the line, they'll see double sticks in the air for 2 laps to go. And that is probably when you'll see McCorkadale and Dietz start going back and forth with each other. Now into the south side hairpin. McCorkadale continues to push on the back bumper of Matt Geist out in front. And it looks like the gap now between McCorkadale and Adam Dietz is stretched out to about 1.63. And Dietzy currently is about 2/10 better than Troy Toney running in 4th. P5 is Brian Williams, P6 is Kenneth Owens, P7 is Kyle Ingerman, and P8 is Chris Moore. So that is your top 8. And now here's the pass for the lead. McCorkadale able to get around Geist. Geist got a little gripped up there in the exit. His cart hopped a couple of times, able to settle it back down. So new position change for the lead. McCorkadale out in front, Geist into P2. Adam Dietz and Troy Toney might get a little bit from that, but they need that every single corner if they want to close back up in time, as we're sitting at about 2 laps to go, 8 minutes complete. When they come across the line, it'll be somewhere in the minute 45, or sorry, somewhere in the minute 30s as they make their way out of the south side hairpin. Now, up the hill they go, over into the inner hairpin. Does Matt Geist try to get him back here? No, he's going to stay right behind and close back up towards the top of the hill, as they're looking at about 1 minute and 50-some seconds across the line. So you can start doing the math in your head. If they're doing 50-second lap times, about 2.5 to maybe 3 laps until they get 2 laps to go here at WRP in round number 1. Again, this is the Indy Karting Challenge, the first race of the Indy Karting Challenge here for the 2024 season. And it's getting kicked off here in a fantastic fashion. And also keep in mind, we got the championship battle to look out for. This is going to set the precedent going forward of who needs to improve and who needs to just maintain what they have in order for the championship battle to heat up as we continue towards this entire main season, I should say, from the spring to the summer to the fall. The championship usually heats up right as the leaves start to change color in the fall time. But right now, we're just kind of building the foundation and setting the benchmark of what we need to look for in the championship. And right now, McCorkadale and Matt Geist for the 206 Heavy are going to be the two heavy hitters here. This time across the line, we are barely less than a minute when they went across the stripe, about 51 seconds when they came through. So if there's a couple of passes, that might slow it down. But as of now, it's going to be close to see if they get 2 to go or if they're going to let it go to have 3 laps to go at the line this time by. The gap between second and third, Matt Geist sitting at a about 50.91-ish. Again, this is all reference to Evan McCorkadale and Adam Dietz with a 50.351. So he's still 0.3 down on the top 2, about 2 seconds back from Matt Geist and about 2.2 seconds back from McCorkadale out in front. 10 seconds as they go into the inner hairpin. 9, 8, 7. This one's going to be close, but I think they're going to give it to him. Yes, it is going to expire before 2 laps to go for these 2 drivers out in front. McCorkadale and Geist into turn 1. Does McCorkadale defend? No, but Geist thought about making a move as McCorkadale got a little loose there mid-corner, and he's going to continue to have a little bit of a push there from Matt Geist as they make their way into turns 3 and 4 complex, heading over towards the stretch into turn 5. Geist is down by about a half a car length. I think he backed it off intentionally to see if he can get a run going down the straightaway into the quick chicane in Daytona corner. He continues to close now over into turn 6. Through Daytona they go. Does he pull it out here on the inside line? No, he's going to stay right in tow. This is going to be a last lap battle here between the top 2. Geist, I think he's trying to just ever so slightly back it off to get a run somewhere, somehow, over the inner hairpin. Doesn't make the move here on McCorkadale. McCorkadale is going to have to put his elbows out here on this final lap. White flag is out. One more time to go. Does he defend that inside line? He does not, but here comes Geist. Looks to the inside. Clears him, but look for a crossover from McCorkadale. He gets a good run. Geist goes down to defend. Lapper right there perfectly, and another. So he's setting a pick there, so to speak, was Matt Geist with the lappers trying to hold back McCorkadale in the second spot. McCorkadale's got a good run here out of Fork, and he continue it down this back straightaway. He's in the toe. He's trying. He might have just enough for the south side hairpin to go straight to his back bumper, gives him an extra bit of a push. Through Daytona corner, they go into the south side hairpin for the final time. No defensive move made there from Matt Geist. McCorkadale did not try to make a move. It's going to come down to here in this inner hairpin. Here comes McCorkadale on the inside. Geist tries to pitch him off. He gets a wheel up in the air. They're side by side up the hill for a moment. Matt Geist is going to hold on and take the first win here for 206 Heavy for your first round at Whiteland Raceway Park. Adam Dietz comes across in P3, Troy Toney P4, Brian Williams in 5th, Kenneth Owens in 6th, Kyle Ingerman in 7th, and Chris Moore rounds out the field in 8th. So that'll do it for 206 Heavy. Up next is your 206 Super Masters. You are watching the first round of the Indy Kart Challenge, coming to you live here on Kart Chaser.
So you finally want to get behind the wheel, huh?
Yeah, I've been shooting for 3 years and I've never got to drive.
Well, you're going to need some more gear than just your helmet. Why don't you go to shopakr.com. They got their inventory online and they'll ship it the same day if you order before 5:30 p.m. Eastern.
They got shoes?
Yep.
Gloves?
Yep.
Rip protectors?
Got those too.
Can they make me go fast?
No.
Here at Acceleration Kart Racing, we've got everything you need to get on track. What happens next? Well, that's on you. Check us out online at shopakr.com.
And here we go now, your 206 Super Masters Final, the first one of the 2024 season, set to go green here. It is Michael Wells and Tom Harleman who's taking him down to the green. Wells start on pole position, Harleman on the outside of run number 1, and now Harleman under pressure and attack here from Travis Wilbur. Wilbur's trying to take around the outside line. I think he'll do so. No, he won't. Harleman will hold on just a little bit longer to that second spot, and this is very reminiscent of what we saw in the first heat that in this category of the 206 Super Masters, where it was Wells and Harleman going nose to tail the entire time for the full 5 minutes. Now they got 10 plus 2 laps to see what they can do here. And now Harleman getting a little anxious now, trying to see if he couldn't work a move on the exit of the inside hairpin coming up the hill now. And I believe also that Travis Wilbur is starting to put the pressure on the 2 out in front. So we're going to sit back now and watch these 3 go back and forth. So it's no longer just the 2 out in front. Travis Wilbur is in the show as well. So it's Wells, Harleman. Sorry, that's not Wilbur. That is Moskpiff and kart number 86 in that 3rd position. Although I think timing scoring might be failing me right now, because I do believe that is kart number 6 of Wilbur in P number 3. So Travis Wilbur in 3rd. Top 2 still Wells, Harleman, nose to tail. Kind of. They're all equal spacing there in the top 3. Not too far back. And 4th is Moskpiff in P number 4. And now, a little bit of contact there. It looked like Wilbur got on the back bumper of Harleman, got him a little bit loose. Harleman able to save it. But now that is going to allow Wells to pull away just a little bit from the 2 from behind. So he's got about a kart length and a half in front of the 2 that are now in 2nd and 3rd of Harleman and Wilbur coming down into turn number 1. So now they're going to continue to go nose to tail, 1, 2, 3, and then to the 4th position, Louis Moskpiff in kart number 86 is also slowly starting to join this party in the battle for 2nd. So still Harleman now actually falls back a position, as that's now Travis Wilbur up into P2. Meanwhile, Michael Wells is pulling a decent-sized gap over the rest of this battle here for the 2nd spot. I believe he is going to be up well over half a second when they make their way across the stripe. About 7 minutes still to go, so plenty of time for them to start duking it out back and forth, and that will then allow Michael Wells to grow his gap even more. However, if they start to settle down in that 2nd pack, they could work together and close back up to Wells, maybe make a move. We know that Harleman and Wells can run pretty identical lap times, as we saw from the first heat race, and now if they can just keep it down a little bit longer, maybe get to each other's bumpers and give them a little bit of a push, we could see a 4-kart battle for the lead, as Wilbur out in front is holding off Harleman and Moskpiff in the 3rd or 4th position out of turn number 5. Looks like Moskpiff is closing up onto the back bumper of Harleman, had a quick look to the inside, went to his back bumper instead and thought better of it, giving a little bit of a push, and that gap now slowly starting to close. Last time by, between Wills and Harleman, it was about 1 second. It looks like Wilbur does not have a transponder working, whether it just stopped working or what have you, if it may have died on him. He is not getting a transponder registered, but he is a little bit of a buffer there between Wells and Harleman on the scoring board. So keep in mind that kart number 6 of Wilbur is sitting there in that 2nd spot, as last time by it was about 8/10 difference between Harleman and Wells. So they're starting to close back up, which means that Wilbur is going to be much closer than 8/10, probably somewhere about 2 or 3, as he's looking onto the back bumper of your leader right now. Coming out of turn 4, he takes a peek back, Wells that is, to see that Wilbur is right there, about a kart length down on him. He continues to close up through that back straightaway, now over into the crossover to Daytona Quarter for the short shoot to get to the south side hairpin. Does Wilbur take it here? Not close enough to get the move done, but he continues to stay in the toe of your leader, Wells, out in front. Just over 4 minutes in, which means we're just at under 6 minutes to go here this afternoon for your 206 Super Masters. Track temperatures are probably going to be the hottest that they've been all day. It's 46 degrees outside, which means the track is probably a crisp 70 degrees right now, knowing how windy it's been all day. And now we're seeing it come to fruition here with the top 3 going into a slugfest here, nose to tail. Wells, Wilbur, Harleman, 1, 2, 3. Moskpiff looks like he's losing a little bit of time there in the 4th spot, but the top 3 is still relatively close. And all we're waiting for is someone in that front 3 to try to make a move, slow down that front pack, and that'll then allow Moskpiff to close back up. Moskpiff is turning some good lap times. He's not quite to what the leaders are running is a 51.6. Harleman running a 51.4. And something tells me that Wilbur is probably in that 51.4, 51.3 range as you're closing in on Michael Wells. Michael Wells, last time by, he had one of the slowest laps of the field in this top 3 of a 51.833. So that top 3 is going to continue to close down, and now to the defensive goes Michael Wells. Wilbur trying to see if he can't force a crossover move, goes to the outside, tries to see if he can't swing it wide and pop out into turn 2. Not here. So Wilbur had an attempt. It did not work out for him. Harleman was right there to give a little bit of an extra push when he needs it. So the top 3 still equal spacing all the way through. I think Wilbur's a little bit closer to Wells than Harleman is to Wilbur as they go through the crossover now. And Wilbur's got a good run here out of that turn 4 into turn 6. Now over to the south side hairpin. Gives a little bump to the back bumper of Wells. Not enough to upset the car. Just more of an indication is, hey, I'm here. I'm running fast times. You better be anticipating either a push in the back or a pass here shortly. And Michael Wells already defended previous lap over into turn number 1. Does he try to defend here? He's in the toe down this long front straightaway we have. Wilbur not close enough, but boy, is he closing up to that back bumper, down to about a kart length now, and so does Harleman. So Wilbur closing up in the toe. He's bringing along Harleman with him. Moskpiff down by about 1.6 seconds to the back bumper of Harleman in third. So I think he might be out of the running here inside this top 3. Looking at the amount of time to go, as we are now watching a battle for the top 3 as Wilbur was able to get around Wells. So now count Travis Wilbur up onto the point. He's leading the pack. Wells in P2, and I think Wells now is going to be able to hold on to it with the toe. Harleman's still sitting there in the 3rd spot. Harleman might try to just push Wells where he needs it to keep him up with Wilbur. No sense right now to start battling back and forth inside this top 3 when Moskpiff is sitting about 1.6 seconds behind. If they start going back and forth here inside the top 3, we could see that gap start to close down. 3 minutes left in this +2 laps, so they're still probably not close enough to start going back and forth here if they want to keep Moskpiff out of this battle for the top 3. Harleman had a quick peek there to the inside of Wells for the 2nd position, decided to go straight to his back bumper to put the extra momentum into it, so that's going to close him back up again. Wilbur not able to run away with it too much, still about a kart length advantage he has over Wells. Wells right now is holding on to about a half a kart length advantage over Harleman for 3rd. Over into turn 6, there's a good shot of the 00. That is Travis Wilbur, father of Levi Wilbur, who runs in the 206 light and medium class we've seen here. Both him and his son decided to go down to Daytona for WKA Kart Week and run the big track, so to speak. They weren't on the sprint track. They ran the big road course that's used in the 24 hours of Daytona. I think that was the way that they decided to do some bonding and break the rust off and maybe enjoy some warmer weather that we saw here in Indiana in the end of December. But now we're back here at WRP. The sun is out, so to speak. 46 degrees is kind of warm to what we've had previously, so we're having some good old-fashioned family fun racing here in the springtime as we have a 3-kart battle for the lead. Just over 2 minutes to go. The top 3 have now reconnected. Wilbur's getting a push now from Wells. Wells is getting a push from Harleman, although Harleman is starting to fall back. I think he decided to lift just a little bit to get a better run on the 2 of them and maybe see if anything is going to happen inside the top 2. If they decide to go back and forth and bobble each other's momentum, they'll be right there to make a move if anything were to happen. So Wilbur leads over Wells coming up the hill now. Minute and 30 still yet to go. We are 8 minutes and 30 seconds in, so it's going to be about a minute and 30 plus 2 laps to go. This time across the stripe, we're looking more at about a minute and 20. So the time is still continuing on as it looks like a big drop off there for your 3rd place from Tom Harleman for 3rd. Now he's able to close it back up into turn 1, so he's braking a little bit earlier so he can roll more momentum through that turn 1 complex. Gets a good run now, puts it to the back bumper of Wells here for 2nd. The top 3 just continue that accordion effect where they spread out, the draft comes into effect, and they start to close back up. Although out of turn 5, it looks like Wells and Wilbur get a better run over Harleman out of the exit of turn 5, but Harleman's able to close it back up with the draft through turn 6, through Daytona Corner, and then also into that south side hairpin, and the inner hairpin always bunches the field back up. So up they go now into the inner hairpin. Wilbur still out in front. He's got to hold on just a little bit longer. 37 seconds remaining, so it's going to be 3 laps to go at the line. Look for double sticks in the air this next time by. Let's see if Wills has enough to make a move into turn 1. I don't think he does. He takes a peek. Can he clear it? No, he's going to roll that inside line. He closes up more to the back bumper of Wilbur. I think Wilbur went on the defensive halfway through the corner, and now they're going to go door to door over into turn 3. Wells thought about it. Harleman also thought about it for move for 2nd. he thought, you know what, I'm going to wait. If Wells makes a move here for the lead, not only can I get around Wilbur, but Wells' momentum is also going to be bobbled down, so it'll be a nice 2-for-1 special if he's able to pull it off. But right now, it's still Wilbur and Wells, 1 and 2 nose to tail. Harleman's still right there, about a half a kart length down on the two of them. Out of the south side hairpin they go. Wells not close enough to get a run on the exit of the corner. Let's see if it tries the inner hairpin. Does he pop down low? He does not. He stays right behind Wilbur, up the hill through the final 2 corners to see 2 laps to go this time by. Double sticks in the air. Now into turn 1. Wells has a good run. Does he try it here? He pulls out to the inside line. A little bit later on the brakes, he's going to take the point. Look for Travis Wilbur to try a crossover move. He has a peak down low. Harleman's still right there to try to see if he can't pick up any scraps that might be left off. Over into 3 and 4 complex, now heading over into turn 5. Wells leads over Wilbur going out of turn 5. Again, Harleman just doesn't have a good run out of that turn 5, but he picks it back up in the draft and then through turn 6 in the Daytona corner. So Wells back up on point here now, heading into the south side hairpin. He's got enough to hold off Wilbur for now, but he's going to be looking at the white flag this time by. Wilbur's probably going to be more than happy to wait until the last lap, hope that he can make a good pass and then bobble the momentum there of Wells just a little bit so that he struggles to get back up under power, and that'll allow him to pull away. But right now, it looks like a good gap there for Wells out in front. Harleman now tries on the inside of Wilbur. Does he have Wilbur cleared? It looks like yes for the moment. They're side by side, and now they're still going to go side by side. Wilbur's going to take the point. Harleman's going to slip back into tow, and now he's going to try it again over into turn 3. So good news for Michael Wells out in front. You got more breathing space down this back straightaway. He pulls out about a 3 or 4 car length advantage, and I think that may have sealed the deal with that attempt of a pass there from Harleman. It was a good move on Harleman's part to try to see if he couldn't make up that one position heading over to turn 1 and have the rest of the track to make it up for the lead. Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to be enough. Michael Wells out of that final corner, as it looks like Wilbur got a little loose on entry. Harleman's going to go around for second, but it doesn't matter here. All for the lead goes to Michael Wells to the final couple of corners and to receive the checkered flag for yet his first win here at WRP and the first one for the 2024 season. Michael Wells takes the win here for 206 Super Masters. Harleman came across in P2, Mospiff came across in 3rd, Tom Stevens 4th, Danny Cutshaw 5th, Joseph Stevens in 6th, and Travis Wilbur's registered in 7th, but he should have been farther up there. A little bit of problems for his transponders, it looks like. So that's going to be it for the 206 Super Masters. Up next is the KA100 Juniors, followed by 206 Light. And here we go for the this is the KA Junior Final event set to come here on the first race of the Indy Karting Challenge. Onto the inside goes Landon Brewer, and a little bit of contact there in the inside. AJ Stoner, who started up in the third position, was able to get around it. He now goes up into P2. How about this for AJ Stoner? If his first race in the junior category, if he's able to pull off a win here on his local club level, that would be one good story to tell and bragging rights for sure when he goes to other races here across the country. So I was actually mistaken. It was not Brewer that led off the start. It was Christopher Yutzi who led into turn number 1, and he is now holding off the rest of the field. So that is the 833 of Christopher out in front, AJ Stoner P2. So 2 AMAX Racing karts up in the front, both OTK Tony karts going 1 and 2. Just behind them, I believe that should be the third placement of Landon Brewer, then his teammate Ryan Mort. Dane Van Dyke in the 5th position, a privateer. Mason Gallion in P6. Lucian Laser, who is running under New Gen, and then Evan Patton in P8. So that is your top 8 rundown here after 1 lap being in the books. Timing system is still updating now. It says that there's still 10 minutes to go, but if I'm not mistaken, there should be somewhere about 9 minutes and 15 some seconds still yet to go here. Out of the south side hairpin for the second time. That is Christopher Yutzi out in front. AJ Stoner in P2, again his teammate in that Tony Kart AMAX Racing entry there in P2. And just behind him, Landon Brewer in that MPG Kart Republic in the 3rd spot, and his teammate Ryan Mort. Actually, that's now Mason Gallion into P number 5. But your top 3 very close together. So that is now a battle for second between AJ Stoner and Landon Brewer. So that's second and third. First out in front is Christopher Yutzi, over into turn 5. And he's got a decent sized lead, about 3 or 4 kart lengths over the battle for second between Stoner and Landon Brewer into the turn number 6 little chicane. Now over into the south side hairpin they go. Up the hill yet again over to the inside hairpin as they make their way down into that inside hairpin. That is still the 833 of Christopher Yutzi out in front. Down towards the front straightaway yet again. 2 minutes and 16 seconds in, about 7 minutes and 40 seconds to go now, plus 2 laps. Over out of turn number 1, still nose to tail goes Brewer and Stoner. Again, that is Stoner in the 2nd position, Brewer into P3. Again, Stoner, who had a dominant run in the micro and mini category in the cadets when it came to 206, made the jump this year up into the junior category, running, if I'm not mistaken, just 2-cycle this weekend, although we normally see him as well in the 206 program. Cadet, that is, in the previous years. Now finding himself up towards the front. Christopher Yutzi, not too long ago, was also in the cadet program, made the jump now up into the juniors. So these two out in front looked like they didn't skip a beat. They may have a bigger kart with more power. Doesn't matter to them because they are still putting on a top-notch performance. Landon Brewer, though, who is running in that MPG category in that 3rd position, this is not his rookie year in the junior category. I believe this is his sophomore or junior year in the junior category, so he is a veteran here at WRP and has a little bit of experience when it comes to the national and regional races as well. Ryan Mort, who is a veteran here at WRP, I believe he's got a couple of regional and national races under his belt, running with the MPG on the Kart Republic. He calls this track home. We see him almost every weekend when it came time last year, and I believe this year as well. So it's good to see some familiar faces running up front here as well as being competitors on the national circuit. It's always good to see us have drivers that work their way up through the category, go off from the national regional series, and then never forget where they come from, come back here and always put on a good show. And 9 times out of 10, they always put on a good performance with their fellow co-drivers that they might have a couple of struggles with at a national event, but let's be honest, whoever has an easy national event. But right now, let's focus on this one. Yutzi out in front in that 833 AMAX on that Tony Kart OTK in P1. AJ Stoner, also AMAX OTK Tony Kart in P2. Landon Brewer still running in the 3rd position. Let's take a look at the lap times. Christopher Yutzi's last lap was a 45.106, his best lap so far. AJ Stoner's best lap was actually his previous as well, of a 44.657. So he is closing up, but what he doesn't need is what happened right there for second. Landon Brewer goes up into P2, so he now inherits a 2nd spot, trying to see if he can't take the run and close in on Christopher Yutzi heading into turn number 1. He's now got the challenge of holding off AJ Stoner there for the second position. That last time by, Utsi won a 44.8, Brewer won a 44.9, AJ Stoner 45.175. So a little bit slower than what we've seen here before, but he did get past there going to the inner hairpin, probably bobbled his momentum. AJ Stoner is the fastest Kart on track, holding a 44.657 here for this feature event for your KA100 juniors. Barely over halfway in, over halfway home. 4 minutes and 50-some seconds, so it's going to be what remains this time across the stripe, plus 2 laps. So the time is ticking away. We are just now over halfway on the time clock. And again, we're going to add 2 laps once it strikes 0. And it's still the 3 out in front of Utsi, Stoner, and Brewer. Running into that second spot, Landon Brewer, that is in P2, Stoner in P3, not too far behind. Ryan Mort is Landon Brewer's teammate in the 4th spot. Dane Van Dyke, we haven't talked a lot about Van Dyke today. He's normally a front runner here at Whiteland. I think due to other extracurricular activities that he's doing within school, he can't be on track as much as I know we'd like to see him here at Whiteland Motorsports Park, but he is holding on to that 5th position, having a good little battle there with Mason Gallian in the 6th position. But right now, let's focus back up onto the top 3, Utsi, Stoner, and Brewer. Although Stoner actually is running in that 3rd spot, so it should be Utsi, Brewer, and Stoner. Like I said before, yes, 1, 2, and 3. Stoner closer to Brewer than Brewer is to Christopher Utsi. Last time by, Brewer is set sail and slowly starting to close up on the back bumper of Utsi. Utsi's last lap was a 44.739. Landon Brewer's last lap was a 44.169. So 0.6 better is he than over Christopher Utsi that last time by. However, AJ Stoner is right there behind it. I'm sure if he made the slightest mistake, Stoner would jump on any chance to get around him for that 2nd spot. Especially because that means he'll be playing good teammate there to Christopher Utsi out in front. This time across the stripe, less than 3 minutes and 20 seconds to go, and the gap continues to close down. Last time by, it was about 0.6 of a second. Now it is down to 4. So 0.4 of a second separates Landon Brewer and Christopher Utsi. AJ Stoner is not too far behind of Brewer for second, still right there if he makes a mistake, and I think he's just waiting to follow Landon Brewer up to his teammate of Christopher Utsi to make it a 3-car battle for the lead. Under 3 minutes to go now, plus 2 laps as they make their way down the backstretch into turn 6. Heading over now into the Daytona corner, followed by the hairpin that we like to call turn number 8, as there's a lapper around the outside line, letting them all go. 1, 2, and 3. I think they all 3 made it through just fine, and they did. I think Stoner may have taken just a little bit longer to get around. That was car number 61 of Evan Patton. So, top 3 still slowly closing up. Last time by, Landon Brewer went 0.2 faster than Christopher Utsi, your leader, down to a 0.2 of a second deficit between Utsi and Landon Brewer now. So that's 1 and 2. Heading over out of turns number 4, heading for 5. 2 minutes and 10 seconds plus 2 laps remain, so the time is ticking away. We are well over halfway. We're in the closing stages of this race, and now it's crunch time for Landon Brewer. You got about 4, almost 5 laps to see if you can't make your move for the lead. AJ Stoner, same situation. Your best bet probably to follow Landon Brewer. Gave him a little bit of assistance. I know it's not playing good teammate. However, he's probably not thinking this as he wants to finish in second if that's supporting his teammate. He probably also wants to go for the win as this time across the stripe. Less than 2 minutes to go. Let's look at the times. 44.780 for Utsi, 44.734 for Landon Brewer. So very small differences until you get to AJ Stoner, who it says he ran a 44.558. I'm not sure if I believe that because he is now within a kart length of Landon Brewer, who is now within 2 kart lengths of Christopher Utsi out in front. Over through turn 6 they go, now into the Daytona banking of 7, heading over to the south side hairpin. No one goes on the defensive, no one tries to make a move into that hairpin. Now they make their way up the hill, heading towards the inner hairpin. This is another good passing opportunity, but I don't think there's going to be any takers there on the inside line. Up through the final 2 corners and down towards the start-finish straight. Still, Utsi continuing to lead from the start. Looking at the times, a little bit better there from oh, looks like Landon Brewer was able to get around. I think that happened off camera, my bad. Landon Brewer now up into point. I think that happened out of the hairpin now. So Landon Brewer up into P1, and he actually was able to improve his time, went a faster time than Utsi, went a 44.940. Christopher Utsi went a 45.372. So that is your top 2. AJ Stoner still sitting there in 3rd. He's probably going to give a little bit of assistance there to Christopher Utsi in the 2nd spot if he can't get anything done here now as they continue to go almost 1, 2, 3 in the south side hairpin. Stoner had a little bit of a look to the inside on his teammate, but wasn't quite close enough to get the job done. Now they make their way through, up the hill for the final 2 corners, down towards the start-finish straight. Brewer continues to lead. Utsi P2. AJ Stoner, I think, may have pulled it out on the line to get a better run on his teammate heading over into turn 1. And he didn't. He got side by side, but did not get the position gain there. So there's still 1, 2, 3. Brewer, Utsi, and Stoner is the top 3 respectively. Last time by, Landon Brewer went about 4/10 faster than AJ Stoner, so he is pulling out a very decent margin over the line. This time by, look for double sticks in the air. 2 laps to go here for Landon Brewer, who was running in that second spot for the longest time. Played a perfect and smart race of just biding his time, waiting for little mistakes to get made by Utsi so he could just take up a 10th or 2 here or there. We could get it. Was able to get the job done and moved himself up on a point. And now he's just 2 laps away from taking the inaugural win here of the 2024 season here at Whiteland Raceway Park. And now there's a good battle for the second spot. AJ Stoner moves himself up into P2. Christopher Utsi falls back into 3rd. 4th placement of Ryan Mort is kind of off of this no man's land. He's got no support from behind, no one out in front. He's kind of just biding his time. You're going to get some good points here, Ryan, from the championship, finishing in P4. You're going to also bring your equipment home in one piece. But hey, at the end of the day, sometimes it's all that matters. Time continues to go down as we're looking at the white flag, and it looks like AJ Stoner's starting to close back up now to Landon Brewer. Up through the final 2 corners and coming down towards the start-finish straight. Last time by, it was a 0.7 of a second deficit. Now it's down to 6. AJ Stoner slightly better than your leader of Brewer out in front, but he's got 1 lap to close up and make a move for the win if he wants to try it. I think he is faster. Last time by, Brewer at 44.9, AJ Stoner 44.5, so 0.4 of a second better. He is visually closing up. I just don't think time is his friend right now. Over to turn 6, he's still closing up. He might have a chance at the inner hairpin. Over out of Daytona corner, now over to the south side hairpin they go. Up the hill, here comes AJ Stoner. He's within striking distance. Does he go for it now or does he wait? Brewer goes on the defensive. Stoner trying for a crossover. He's right there. I don't think it's close enough. He's got to run, but not enough time. Landon Brewer holds on to bring it home with the win here for KA Jr. AJ Stoner comes across in P2. Christopher Utsi comes across in P3. Ryan Mort finishes in P4. And Mason Gallion rounds out the field in 5th. Dane Van Dyke finishing in 6th. Lucian Laser in 7th. And Evan Patton brings on home in 8th. That'll do it for the penultimate class here, the KA100 Junior. The last class up, 206 Light, set to go live here. You are watching the Indy Karting Challenge, brought to you by Kart Chaser. And welcome back as we're about to get set for the final race of the afternoon. 206 Light set to take their 10 minutes plus 2 laps feature event. Ryan Gensheimer starts on pole position next to Brady Johnson in P2. Kyle Landon set to start in P number 3 next to Eli Fox. Braden Heber starts in P number 5 next to Levi Wilbur. Riley Baldwin starts in P7 next to AJ Ludd. Dominic Stancombe starts in P9 next to Kyler Peebles. Keegan Day starts in P11 next to Richard Dobson. And starting dead in Charlie in P13 is going to be Nick Patton. Down out of what we used to call turn number 1 on the old layout, heading towards the tram lines of turn number 1 down the main straightaway. Eyes on the starter. They're in the tram lines perfectly. Green flag is out, and they're side-by-side racing into turn number 1. And it looks like it is going to be, if I'm not mistaken, that should be Gensheimer up into the point. And Brady Johnson is about to lose one position here. If he's not careful, looks like he will hold on to it. Had his elbows up for a moment. It looked like, if I'm not mistaken, it should have been Johnson, was holding off from Kyle London there for the second spot. So now he will hold on to it. Eli Fox moves himself up into P number 3. I believe he did start in the 3rd spot, so he just maintained his position. Braden Heber right there in P number 4 in cart number 8, the privateer entry. In 4th and in the 5th spot, I believe, is Levi Wilbur rounding out your top 5. Looking at the gap now, Ryan Gensheimer out in front has a significant lead over the rest of the field. Last time by, it was about 0.4 of a second, and I believe that may even grow even more so. Johnson now, Brady Johnson that is, in P number 2 is getting reeled in by a group of 3 being led by Eli Fox. Braden Heber in that second group of the pack, who is currently sitting in P4, and Levi Wilbur in 5th. So the 3 of them kind of working together to reel in the second place into Brady Johnson. Last time by, if you remember in the pre-final, Brady Johnson held off to the last lap, a hard charge there from both Wilbur and Fox. But now time is not in his advantage right now. We're looking at about 8 minutes to go plus 2 laps, and he's already getting reeled in close by Fox, Heber, and Wilbur. Down towards turn number 6 after that short little straightaway over to Daytona corner they go. Huge lead now for Ryan Gensheimer. Approximately 1.5 seconds separates himself through the rest of the field. Johnson now has been closed in by Fox, and he is going to be under fire here. Fox leading Heber and Wilbur closing up. Right behind Wilbur, you have Kyle Landon and AJ Ludd not too far behind as well. And they'd love to see some action here happening in that second pack so they can close back up to that second group. Down into turn number 1, looks like Fox doesn't take it here. He's going to stay into tow. Johnson still holding off the rest of the pack. And I think Fox might be willing to work with Johnson to push him back up to see if they have a chance to close in to your leader of Ryan Gensheimer out in front. Out of turn 5. Fox not close enough to make a move on Johnson, or is he close enough to push for that matter? He's holding on to that 3rd position, gets just to his back bumper. Heber there in the 4th spot, down by about a half a cart length onto Fox, closes it back up, so they are now in a 4-cart pack heading out of the south side hairpin, coming up to the inner hairpin now. Fox has a run. Does he take it here? He does not. Goes straight into the back bumper of Johnson to give a little bit of an extra push to try to close that gap back up. We're looking at 1.5. Last time by was a 2.2 second gap from Gensheimer and Johnson second. Now it's to a 2.3. So they've slowed the amount of time that Gensheimer's pulling away from the pack. However, they're still losing about a 10th per lap that last time by. This will be a good indication on this lap here to see if they're able to close the gap back up. If they're not, look for the mechanics on the side of the pit wall to start indicating to the drivers, you got to make something else different. You got to make something work, because right now Gensheimer is about to seal the deal. He's way out of tow range from the cars from behind. However, last time by, Braden Johnson went purple, 48.456 to Gensheimer's 49.009. So 2.3 was the deficit last time by, opened up by about 1/10. Up the hill, the rest of the field goes towards the start-finish straight. Here comes Gensheimer across the board. Let's see what the times look like now. Johnson went purple last time by, and actually the gap is starting to close. 2 100s was picked up there, or 2 10s I should say, was picked up there by Johnson and company, so the gap is now down to a 2.1. What they have is working. This right here won't, boys. What you're doing, side by side for the 3rd and 4th spot. Fox is now up into P2. Johnson gets shuffled back there into 3rd, and now Heber and Wilbur going door to door. That gap visually opening up from the rest of the field. And if that's a good indication of what battling back and forth will do, what they had before was working. They're closing 2 tenths a lap. They had about 6 minutes to go at the line, so they had plenty of time to close the gap back up. Now let's see what Johnson can do behind Fox. If Johnson decides to go back and forth, again, that'll all but seal the deal for Gensheimer out in front, although Fox can be very quick by himself. It looks like he struggled throughout the day earlier this morning, figured it out as the track temperature started to come up, and again, we're all still breaking the rust off here, including myself up in the booth, still calling bad shots. So hopefully we can all improve going forward into next week. But now let's see the gap. 2.2 is what it was previously. Now it's a 2.6 between Eli Fox and Gensheimer. That was expected due to the battling that happened in that second pack. Next time by should be an indication what the times are looking like, but right now it's looking like Gensheimer is going to have an all-easy day staying out in front as they make their way into turn 6, followed by the Daytona corner. Johnson on the back bumper of Fox there through Daytona and heading over to the south side hairpin. And it looks like that might continue to be true up towards the inner hairpin now. Fox and Johnson still nose to tail, pushing each other through the final 2 couple of corners. Let's see the time gap now. Gensheimer across the board. Let's see what the gap is. It was 2.6. It's now at a 2.7. So this is not working for the two of them. They're losing a 10th a lap to your leader out in front of Ryan Gensheimer. Gensheimer has to hold on for another 4 minutes and 2 laps if he wants to take the win here this afternoon for the first race back here for 2:06 light. And right now, I think that's going to work to his advantage. Let's see how the rest of the board shuffled out. So Fox up into P2, Johnson pushing him in 3rd, Levi Wilbur in 4th, Braden Heber rounds out your top 5, Kyle Landon still in 6th, AJ Ludd 7th, Riley Baldwin 8th, Kyler Peebles 9th, Dominic Stancombe in 10th, Keegan Day 11th, Richard Dobson in 12th, or Dobson's in 12th, Nick Patton in the 13th spot. All we can do now is just keep checking the times between Ryan and Eli. It was 2.7. What is it this time by? It actually grew again, 2.8. So they continued to lose about a 10th a lap to Ryan Gensheimer out in front. So all it's going to do now for this battle for 2nd is to watch and see if Johnson tries to make a move on Fox. The battle for 3rd, I'm curious on that one. Braden Johnson came across. He was about 3 seconds clear, 1.2 seconds clear of Levi Wilbur in that second pack. So we're going to keep an eye on that one. We might see that second pack start to close up. I say that right as Braden Heber decides to go side by side with Levi Wilbur through that turn 6 little chicane. So that might slow it down just a little bit. But I think that might be the best chance right now to see any battling happen in some major packs as we continue the time on. 2 minutes and 40 seconds when they come across the stripe, plus 2 laps is what remains. Gensheimer comes across. Well, now it's starting to go back down. He was at a 2.8. Now it's a 2.5. So they picked up about 3/10 that last lap there. Both Fox and Johnson did. The question is, do they have enough to continue forward? 2 minutes and 24 seconds remain, plus 2 laps. So I think the time might be in the favor of Ryan Gensheimer right now. They need to be doing about 3 to 4 tenths a lap better than Ryan Gensheimer. Sorry, that's 3 to 4 tenths a lap minimum better than Ryan Gensheimer if they want to close back up in time to get the 2 laps to go. It's one thing to close up, it's another to pass. Ryan can make that kart extremely wide and difficult on the 2 from behind once they close up to him, or I should say if they close up to him now as we're continuing across the stripe. We're under 2 laps to go. Ryan Gensheimer comes across the board. 2.5 was the difference between himself and Eli Fox. This time by 2.6, so went up by 1/10. I think he may have done it. I think he may have just enough breathing room to hold off Fox and Johnson unless something major happens. There's no lappers too far in front of him. I don't think he'll catch him by the time the 2 laps to go comes out. So I think if he can just continue to stay consistent there, he's running the 48.8s. Only person that can run close to that is Braden Johnson in the tow of a 48.880. Fox, who was getting a little bit of a push there from Johnson, ran a 48.907. So if Gensheimer can stay in that 48, anywhere from a 48.8 to a 48 or to a 49 flat, I think he will be okay. We'll keep an eye on that gap as well. The gap between what's now Heber and Johnson grew to a 2.0, so I think that one may have stagnated out as well. So we'll just keep an eye on all the gaps right now. 2.5 is the difference now between Johnson and your leader of Gensheimer out in front. So, I mean, they made up a tenth there. Yes, they did pass each other. Johnson with 0.3 better than Gensheimer, and it looks like Fox went about -1/10 better than your leader out in front. But let's see now if Fox decides that he wants to start battling back and forth with your second placement now of Braden Johnson. We're approaching to receive 2 laps to go. We're about 9 minutes and 30 seconds in, so we'll probably won't get it this time. We'll probably get it next time by. So Ryan Gensheimer just has to hold on a little bit longer here, about 2-3 more laps this time across the stripe. Although Johnson and Fox together were faster than when Fox was out in front and Johnson was pushing from behind. Last time by, 3.3 seconds for your leader out in front. So can they close up to him? Yes. Is it going to happen? Probably not here with about 2 laps to go at the stripe. So now we'll look for when Fox decides to make his move on Johnson for the second position. These 2 drivers are probably thinking championship right now. They want to be as high as they can just to get that piece. Maybe a 2 definitely looks better than a 3. However, if you're thinking about the championship standpoint, you definitely want to put yourself in the best position possible. Wilbur now up in that second pack. He was able to get around Heber for a moment. He went up into 4th, but Heber was able to get back around. Kyle Landon has joined that party as well, not too far back, about 2 kart lengths behind. In the 6th position, AJ led 7th, Riley Baldwin 8th, Keegan Day 9th, Dominic Stancombe rounds out your top 10. 2 laps to go this time by for your leader of Ryan out in front. Currently sitting at 3.4 seconds ahead. Eli Fox and Braden Johnson. Johnson currently sits P2, Fox in P3. And now we're just waiting to see when Fox decides to make his move on Johnson. A little bit farther back behind. Heber running in the 5th spot, has Levi Wilbur right behind him. And they are running respectively in the 4th and 5th position here. So this next time by, we're going to look for the white flag. One more time to go for your leader of Gensheimer, who's coming out of the south side hairpin now, making his way up the hill. There's one lapper out in, no lappers out in front of him. He's got nothing but clear track, so it should be smooth sailing here for this next mile around here at WRP. Up through the final time, to receive the white flag this time by, white flag in the air. Johnson and Fox, though, this one might get interesting as well as Heber and Wilbur. Last time by, Braden Heber went purple, 48.061. So let's see, when does Fox make his move? And it looks like he's thinking about it now. Popped out a little bit high there, trying for a possible crossover coming out of turn 4. Does he have a run? Not quite yet. He might have one out of 6. He's in the toe, closing back up, gets to the back bumper, looks high. Is he going to take it side by side through 6? He will. Fox goes side by side over to turn 6. Johnson on the inside. He's going to yield back to it. Does he try it over here? He's going to roll the outside line through the south side hairpin. Here comes both Heber and Wilbur. I don't want to discredit here. Ryan Gossinger is going to take, or Gensheimer is going to take the win here. Both checker flag is out. Ryan Gensheimer takes the win. Here's a 4-kart battle for second. Johnson's going to hold on barely for P2. Fox comes across in 3rd, and Wilbur comes out ahead of Heber for 4th. Braden Heber in P5. So that'll do it here for your 206 light. That'll also be the last feature event that we have here for the day at WRP. We want to thank everyone who came out, everyone who tuned in, and everyone who supported us here in the off-season. We've been making improvements all the way through. We're going to continue to improve going forward. Big shout out to Joe Janowski and his crew for coming on board in the off-season, helping us out. We're trying to make sure that we can just keep improving this program for you guys. We expected to go through some growing pains. We acknowledge that, and we thank you guys for bearing with us. We look forward to seeing you here on the next event. For your tuners back at home, thank you so much for your guys' support and tuning in on the premium content. On behalf of Kart Chaser, I want to thank you myself as well. Every single subscriber that they have on the premium content helps them improve their project and what they're doing to improve karting going forward. And again, you guys feel free to tune in to any Kart Chaser event while you guys have the premium subscription. There's still racing going on now with the Rotax races out in Arizona. But as of now, signing off here, my name is Caleb Smock, brought to you guys up in the booth. We hope to see you guys here soon. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for sticking out the day through us, and especially with the cold. We'll see you guys here real soon.